Imagine this. You've been shrunk down to the size of a bug. At this puny state, you're much more vulnerable to things you'd otherwise consider harmless. Everything looms over you, and because of the difference in scale, even inanimate objects are more intimidating. If someone were to drop a book on you, it's game over. Because at the end of the day, scale is linked to survival. It's that very reason that throughout history we've built bigger homes, bigger fortresses, bigger cities. For the entirety of our existence, humans have attributed great significance to scale. When we imagine gods or creatures of power, they're pictured as these massive beings. This trend of gargantuan size is even mirrored in the large monuments and temples dedicated to them. The concept of strength and size is even echoed in our architecture. From the construction of the ancient pyramids to the rise of the dazzling Burj Khalifa that towers over Dubai, mankind has always believed that bigger is better. But for a small minority, they believe the opposite. For them, anything giant can induce dread. This condition is known as megalophobia. Before we get into today's video, give that like button a click. It keeps the channel healthy, and it allows me to make more videos. Now, back to the topic at hand, megalophobia. Megalophobia is a type of anxiety disorder in which a person experiences an intense fear of large objects such as buildings, statues, animals, and vehicles. But what does it feel like? For many, it's a realization of how small they really are. It's, as one person put it, a feeling of being tiny, a vulnerable speck, like an ant about to be crushed by an indifferent shoe. Megalophobia provides the viewer with a unique experience. It's a reminder that there's always a bigger fish. But how does one fear large objects? When it comes to such unique phobia, knowing the fear is one thing, but understanding the reasoning, that's a little trickier. The scale of an object is associated with danger. The larger the object, the more threatening it appears. For example, what comes off as more threatening? This flying little fella, or his extinct relative? Now, I know I'm stating the obvious when I say that all of us would be afraid if we came face to face with some supersized terror. But when it comes to megalophobia, it isn't centered so much on the grislier details such as how many teeth something has or how sharp its claws are. It's always about the scale. To be terrifying, the subject has to be large. Now, this is easy to understand when it comes to living things, but what about buildings? How can inanimate objects induce intense fear? It could be the case that large structures are often associated with other fears, a type of overlap, such as acrophobia, an intense fear of heights. Being in the presence of a large building, it could trigger one's senses in believing they're in danger, seeing as how the taller the building is, the farther you'll fall. When you look at this image of a woman sitting atop the largest clock tower in the world, it's easy to understand why one would feel this way. Megalophobia is also associated with statues. Where some see beauty, others see megalithic monstrosities. For few, the scale is unnerving. It's unlike anything one would find in the natural world. One should also take the humanoid shape into consideration. For starters, it's unnerving that they already look like us, and then you have the fact that they're giants. Well, those two don't pair well together. Some of us have probably wondered what would happen if they came to life. How would they behave? Would they think twice about crushing us? Then there's this feeling of existential dread. It's conceptualizing not just the size of our bodies, but the size of our world in comparison to everything in the conceivable universe. It's the realization that your world is an insignificant speck floating through an endless void, dodging celestial bodies much bigger than our own. The worst part is that you'll never see them coming until it's too late. At the end of the day, megalophobia is very real, and if you find the majority of these images unnerving, then now you know why. But if you feel daring and you really want to put your self-diagnosis to the test, check out the Megalophobia subreddit. There you'll find plenty of images, just to make sure. There you have it, friends, megalophobia. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to click that like button. And if you want more content on all things obscure and interesting, consider subscribing to the Imagine This channel. Thank you very much. This has been Jonathan from Imagine This.